Hello, everyone. I talk often about the double standards that women have in life, especially when compared to men. But one area that I really haven't gone into in great detail is how much of an advantage they have in the legal system, particularly the criminal justice system. I found this story while doing some research for something else, and it just got me riled up so much that I had to do a quick video on it. Just 5 words made Corby Walpole douse her mate in petrol and set him ablaze. Now she's beaming with joy on her last day of freedom before facing years in jail for the horror attack in Albany. Yeah, so let's get into this because this thing is absolutely disgusting. A woman who doused her childhood friend in petrol and set him on fire after he made what she deemed as misogynistic comments will learn Thursday if she's going to jail. Corby Jean Walpole spent what could be her last day of freedom on Wednesday by catching up with loved ones and frolicking in a park with 2 dogs. Yeah, look at this down here. This is her on her last day before she goes to sentencing here. Lovely, isn't it? She looks so happy. Look at her smiling with her fucking Starbucks coffee, her dog, cute dog, only cute thing in this particular picture, or right? Meanwhile, Meanwhile, this guy, which I'll get to what happened to him, this guy got burned all over his body, and she's just happy as can be. Here we go. Prosecutors want Walpole jailed for setting Jake Loader ablaze as he sat on a chair in her backyard at How Long, about 30 kilometers west of Albury last year. Well, you'd hope she'd go to jail, right? But then again, with female privilege in the criminal justice system, you never know what they can get away with. Mr. Loader, okay. Walpole claims Mr. Loader had been baiting her before she poured 5 liters of petrol over his head and used a cigarette lighter to turn him into a human torch. Yet we continue to say that, oh, women can't be violent, women can't be dangerous. And yet here we have a case specifically where a woman went off the chains because of a comment made at her. A comment, right? This isn't like the man laid his hands on her. This isn't like he did something physical or insulted her mother or whatever the case. He made an offhanded comment, and this is how she chose to react. He was antagonizing me. Oh, yes, he must have been antagonizing you so much that you felt that you had to try to murder him over this. He told me to go to the kitchen where I belong because I'm a girl. I gave it back to him and called him a misogynist. No, you didn't. You may have called him a misogynist, but you didn't leave it there. You went and burned his ass. And this is why, the story talks about how they were drinking. They were out drinking. Think about how guys interact with one another. Guys razz one another. Guys mess with each other. They push their buttons a little bit. She wanted to be one of the guys, right? And of course, the moment that she was treated like one of the guys, well, suddenly she can't handle it. She can't handle being one of the boys and being harassed and razzed and messed with a little bit, right? Absolute bullshit. All right, let's continue. Whatever. Okay. They met. The pair met. They had been friends for at least 9 years. Think about this. This is a woman who has known this guy for 9 years, and this is the way she treats him. Think about this. If she'll treat a man that she's known for 9 years like this, what would she do to a boyfriend? What would she do to a husband if he did something that she didn't like? Man, I wouldn't want to have anything to do with her. She needs to stay away from people entirely. Walpole appeared distressed earlier this month when prosecutors called for her to be jailed over the attack, which left Mr. Loader with burns to more than 60% of his body. Yeah, you might feel a little distressed. Of course you should feel distressed. What, you think you're not going to go to jail for this? And here's the other thing that's interesting. His sweat glands, the actual sweat glands on his arm and on his chest and pretty much the most of his upper half of his body, I saw this in another story. They were completely burned off. The man can't even go outside, which is crazy. He's basically has to stay indoors at least during the day for the rest of his life because of her actions. And she's distressed because she might go to jail. Psycho B, I'll tell you that. She faces up to 25 years behind bars, but her lawyers have asked for an intensive correction order, which would not require her to spend any time in custody. Here's what's funny. There's another story. This is an older copy of it, and there's a couple of stories. She got sentenced to 7.5 years. That's it. They didn't get her for attempted murder, for maiming with a corrosive substance. And worst, she can get out in 4 years. So I think they said December of 2029. So she might get away with 4 years of jail for attempted murder. Double standards? Yeah, this is absolutely what the hell double standards are when it comes to the criminal justice system with women. And here's the real kicker. There was a story that just updated, and I didn't get a chance to add it into this video, but there's a story that she's appealing this ruling. So she got off with a relative slap on the wrist, and now she is trying to appeal because she doesn't want to go to jail at all. She just infuriating that she's trying to say, oh, I shouldn't have to serve any sentence because he made a comment. He said something to me that, oh, I didn't like. Fuck off. Fuck off. Whatever. Mr. Loader was 22 and Walpole was 23 when they began drinking with mates about 8 p.m. on January 6, 2024. 2 hours later, they went to a 21st birthday party and kicked off, blah, 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 before settling in the backyard of Walpole's home at 4 a.m. So they've been drinking for 8 hours. Now, I will say one thing about Mr. Loader. Probably not a smart idea to be drinking for 8 hours. You know, okay, they're doing a 21st birthday. They're young and stupid. That's very stupid. Extremely stupid. Some of the revelers, including Walpole, had taken cocaine earlier in the night, and most had retired to the Russell Street house where Walpole's partner was sleeping within an hour. So her husband or her boyfriend wasn't even involved in this. Meanwhile, she's out here taking cocaine and drinking crazy stuff, right? Ridiculous. Ridiculous on her part. And I hate to say it is ridiculous on his part. Don't put yourself in that situation. Walpole claimed that Loader had been antagonizing her throughout the night, trying to wrestle her and wake her sleeping boyfriend. He was really pushing my buttons, she told the district court. I felt overwhelmed by by Mr. Loader's presence, and I didn't know what to do. You didn't know what to do? Maybe you could have kicked him out. Maybe you could have called the police if you were really that worried about it. It was your place. She got up from an outdoor table and went to the garage where she collected a 5-liter jerry can of fuel, went back to the table, poured the petrol over the seat of Mr. Loader, and waved a cigarette lighter around. I'll do it, she said. I'll do it. Mr. Loader replied, go on, do it. Yeah, he thought she was, well, first of all, kind of stupid, but he probably was incredibly drunk. But he probably didn't think his friend of 9 years would light him on fire. Of course, then again, if you smell gas on you, you might think otherwise, but that doesn't change anything here. Let's see, Mr. Loader, who ran around the yard screaming, tried to pull off his shirt, but the melted fabric melted to his skin. 2 friends extinguished the fire by plunging Mr. Loader into a small pool. Walpole had her head in her hands and said, what the fuck have I done? He was telling me to do it. Oh, of course, he told me to grab a can of fuel. He told me to pour it over his head. You are, again, accountability. Here's what's the important part. Mr. Loader was rushed to Albany Hospital before he was airlifted to the Alfred, where he spent 8 days in a coma, 74 days in the burn unit, and underwent 10 operations. And yeah, this is where 55% of his body suffered 3rd-degree burns. Hey, I want to let Jake know her text began. Let's see here. On the same day she had set Mr. Loader on fire, Walpole sent a text to his girlfriend, Annabelle McGee. I want to let Jake know I'm really sorry for everything that's happened. I made a really stupid decision. No shit. And I own that. It was a mistake and I wish I could go back in time. I hope he's okay. I'm really sorry. Whatever. You know what? I don't need to go over the rest of the story. I'll put in a link if you're really interested in it. But this is the shit that we talk about when we talk about double standards. Oh, she was annoyed at his comment, and that's the way that she thought to respond. That's the way that you respond to somebody who's annoying you, right? No self-control whatsoever. But of course, she's trying to basically walk away from it with no jail time. Because why women in accountability? Why should she have any accountability? And the worst part, the absolute worst part, is that there's several threads on social media. I think I saw one on X and I saw one on Facebook where women are supporting her. They're saying to her, yeah, you know what? He asked for it. He shouldn't have said anything stupid. What the fuck? What is wrong with people? But of course, this story, if you try to share this with anyone, and say, oh, women can be violent. Oh, well, you know what? He asked for it. He wanted her to, what he encouraged her to do, he encouraged her to do this sort of thing by being misogynistic. I can't stand it. I just absolutely can't stand it. So here's the long and the short of it from this story. Don't ever hang around with women, especially in this situation. Just stay away from them. I mean, honestly, do you want to lose your life or have a life like this just because you said some comment joking with somebody and their response is, let me murder you for it? Yeah, just stay away from women. It's utterly ridiculous. And I'll keep you updated if I find she gets any sort of changes to her story. But, again, I suspect that by 2030, so maybe 4 or 5 years, she'll be out. She'll be living her life. But this guy, he won't be. Don't take chances. Do not put yourself in this sort of position.